When Disney first bought Star Wars, I remember being absolutely ecstatic. But then when I went on social media and I saw a lot of people saying Disney will ruin Star Wars and things such as that, I got very confused. How could more Star Wars possibly be a bad thing? How can more of any movie be a bad thing? That is a question that I still struggle to answer myself to this day. In my eyes, no matter what Disney or any other production company does with any other sequel movies, they can't change what has already happened. The originals and the prequels will always be there for us to love and to hate, no matter what the Disney movies and shows do. But after all the initial negative comments, it seemed to become overwhelmingly positive over time. The hype leading up to The Force Awakens was unlike any hype I had ever seen for a movie in my entire lifetime. I was only around 15 at the time of the announcement for the movie, so I didn't quite understand how big of an event this movie was actually going to be, until I saw that trailer. Man, that trailer. To this day, the best trailer that has ever been made. Just thinking about that trailer gives me chills. There is no feeling like watching the Force Awakens trailer for the first time. That trailer changed Star Wars fandom for the better, at least for some time. After The Force Awakens comes out, opinions become a little bit more mixed about the new Star Wars. Some people are extremely happy with the movie and some just think it was a reskin of A New Hope, which in some ways it was. But hey, like the great George Lucas said, Star Wars is like poetry, it rhymes. Some people were extremely curious about Rey, Snoke, and Kylo's story, and some people not so much. But one question everyone was wondering after The Force Awakens, what the hell is Luke doing? Then we have the period after The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi. A movie that I love, but man, it was really bad for Star Wars fandom. I have never seen a single movie split an entire fandom literally in half before. One half absolutely adores the movie and the other half hates it with everything in their hearts. In my eyes, both sides have valid points, but in most people's eyes, the other side was dead wrong, and if you don't agree with their opinion, you are the enemy. The Last Jedi made the Star Wars fandom a miserable group to be a part of, and drove a lot of people out of the fandom. After The Rise of Skywalker, the fandom was in a bit of a lull. We were all extremely exhausted from arguing over The Last Jedi for the last 2 years. We didn't have the energy anymore to do the same thing with The Rise of Skywalker. For me personally, it was the worst of the 3 movies, but for a lot of people, it was the best. But I think we all agree that the movie has some extreme high points, but it also has its extreme lows. And that's pretty much where we all stand on the movie. Whether we like it or not, we don't care enough to argue about it anymore. The Last Jedi haters loved the parts that retconned The Last Jedi, and The Last Jedi lovers found other ways to like the movie for what it was. Regardless of how it was happening, the fandom began to rebuild. Because the movie was so mediocre, none of us really had a leg to stand on for whether it was bad or good, so we kind of just let it slide in terms of arguing on Reddit and Twitter. The Mandalorian started a couple weeks before The Rise of Skywalker, and Baby Yoda made the show an instant hit. But would the show hold up over time? From what we saw in the first 2 weeks of the show, the lore we were getting was great, but the story was a little lacking. But then episode 3 came along and everyone was hooked. There was still a lot of filler in the season, but at least the episodes that weren't filler were top-notch Star Wars storytelling and somewhat reunited the fandom again. All Star Wars fans were enjoying The Mandalorian by the end of the first season. I mean, how could you not with that finale? Personally, the last 3 episodes of the show won me over. I wasn't sold on the show until those 3 bangers hit my computer screen. At this point, the fandom was so close to being united once again. Today, we welcome the new era of Star Wars. The Mandalorian Season 2 is expanding the Mandalorian's universe to a level we never thought possible, and fans are loving it. Not only do we have that, but Disney's huge Investor Day announcement set the fandom on fire. We have live-action shows like Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Rangers, Acolyte, and a couple of feature films coming by very good directors. Not to mention a Season 3 of The Mandalorian. How much more could we ask for? Oh, and Ahsoka, Rangers, and The Mandalorian are all combining for one big crossover finale. Wow. Just wow. They finally listened. They finally hired the right people in John and Dave. They finally learned from their mistakes, and they are finally giving us what we want. Today, the fandom is in a state that I have not seen since the Force Awakens era of Star Wars. Everyone is having such a good time speculating and dissecting every bit of news that we get, and we all can't wait to see which theories were right. As it looks right now, Star Wars is only going to get better, and the fandom along with it. These announcements set Star Wars up for a huge success, both financially and storytelling-wise. Disney would have to have an extreme lapse in judgment to mess this up. Disney, please don't mess this up. Oh, and one last thing. Welcome back to Hayden Christensen. Let's treat him right this time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you want to see more videos like this and a lot of live streams, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time I go live or every time I post a video, make sure you hit the notification bell as well. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.